So that's one interesting thing about our growth is that, aside from just the, acquisition side of things, it's also like a whole lot. There's a whole lot of automating human processes and handling edge cases.
There is no exact playbook for growth.
People want to keep this secret.
For the most part, companies are successful because they've managed to excel at one or two channels.
I think a lot of times your growth is dictated by the market.
Word of mouth, though important, does not work when you don't have any customers.
I'm Dave, and get ready to scale or die. Welcome back, Growth Nation, to Scale or Die. I'm Dave Rogemoser, and this is the show where we uncover proven strategies from CEOs and CMOs of some of the world's fastest growing startups. Today, we've got a lot to talk about. We've got special guest Ryan Farley on the show with us, and Ryan is the co-founder and CMO of LawnStarter. And not only does he think about growth pretty much nonstop from all my conversations with him, he has been behind the scenes growing their company to tens of thousands of lawns in 4 short years. So, Ryan, we'll just dive right in, but thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
So, I was doing a little research on it, doing some digging.
Yes.
And what's this I hear about when you started the company, you doing biphasic sleeping?
So, early on, it was just me and my co-founder. Neither of us were technical. And so we had to figure out how to write code. And we were also, dealing with the whole business aspect of things. So, and, working for 12 to 14 hours straight is kind of hard to do. So we did some research, and turns out there's this thing called biphasic sleeping where you basically sleep twice a day for about 3 hours at a time. So we would typically go to bed around 9, wake up at midnight, and then go back to bed around 6 or 7 a.m., wake up around 9 or 10. And the great part about it was that we could spend all night just doing nothing but coding. There's nobody around to bother you, nobody emailing you, and then kind of take care of the business side of things during the day. So we did it for probably 3 or 4 months straight. And then when we launched, we actually had to be around during business hours.
To be a real person.
Yeah. And we were going through Techstars. We had, a lot of times we were the ones answering the phones. So haven't done it since, but it was fun.
Was it helpful?
It was definitely helpful, especially doing something like programming where you really need to be in the zone without distraction. It was perfect.
That's awesome. I love it. So tell us about LawnStarter. How did it start? What's the business model? Just give us a little bit of the backstory.
Sure. So it actually started, I think a lot of marketplaces start with a need on the consumer side. Ours actually started because my co-founder had done lawn care in college with a friend of his named Chad. And Chad had just graduated college, went through, he got an accounting job, and 6 months in or so, he said, "I hate this, I'm quitting, and I'm starting a lawn care business." So my co-founder, Steve, was helping him out and, helping him, set up his website and, figuring out which software to choose and things like that. And we saw that it was incredibly difficult to actually grow and scale a lawn care business. And most of their businesses never make it past 20 recurring customers, which is not enough to stay in business. So we saw an opportunity there, and as we kind of thought about how can we help the lawn care professionals more and more, we also saw a giant need on the consumer side where there was just kind of an industry that was customers, great customer service wasn't, and great customer experience wasn't the norm, and it was because it's so challenging to grow and run and operate and grow a lawn care business. So that's how we ended up at with the marketplace concept.
Very cool. So you launched. You did Techstars. Did you kind of create it inside Techstars?
So we launched before Techstars, and so we launched in the Washington D.C. metro area, Northern Virginia, and we got to 100 or so customers, and which is not an impressive feat by any means, but it was enough to get us into Techstars, and then throughout Techstars we built it was running on Google Sheets at the time, so we built Realtek and led to raising a random financing, and then kind of a year later we launched for real this time. Our 100 customers, our whopping 100 customers, we called it a pilot, as if we had intended to only acquire 100
There's
customers.
a reason it's so small right now.
Yeah.
We're making it hard to sign up.
Yeah.
Very cool, man. Well, let's dig in. Let's talk more about just growth and scaling up. So, what has the growth of LawnStarter looked like since you guys launched? Have there been big stretches of good growth? Has there been valleys? Just like, what has that growth experience been like?
Yeah. So there's a few interesting things. One, it's seasonal. So like everything we have to look at year over year and adjust for seasonality. The other thing is that there's so many edge cases in our business when it comes to growing that we've actually like reduced our OpEx every year, even though we've at least doubled, our revenue every year, which is because like there's so many things that could happen when, a guy shows up to mow your lawn, like weather for one, or there's a rattlesnake in the yard, or the gate's locked. And over time, originally those were all just, human handled, and we've been kind of automating all that. So that's one interesting thing about our growth is that, aside from just the, acquisition side of things, it's also like a whole lot. There's a whole lot of automating human processes and handling edge cases.
Interesting. And what has worked really well as far as growth channels and just actual growth strategies over the last 4 years?
Yeah, so search is big for us, paid and organic, because it's where people go. Referrals are pretty common, both through invite a friend and just, who to use for lawn care. I use LawnStarter. And then we do paid social as well. Works when you can find the right audience and whatnot.
Yep. Yeah, I was reading your blog, which you write about a lot of great growth strategies, really, really practical. And a lot of it was about scaling up. And you were talking about there's kind of four main scalable growth channels to target: paid acquisition, virality, SEO, and sales.
Yeah.
Then you had like kind of an other category as well. But could you just talk us through, maybe some of the campaigns or some of the strategies you've seen in paid acquisition, virality, SEO, and sales? And are any of those that haven't worked or you haven't tried?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like within each of those categories, there's a lot of things. One that works exceptionally well is paid search.
Is that AdWords?
Google AdWords, yeah.
Okay.
And so as far as what we've done on it, so we wrote code to generate campaigns. So everything's local. So when we go to a market, it's city plus lawn care plus city, lawn mowing plus city. And we've invested a lot. So for example, a lot of times you get in paid search, you have like giant spreadsheets and you have a whole person just kind of like messing around in Excel. And I got tired of that. So one weekend just whipped up a Python script that would basically like you say, hey, I'm going to this metro area, and it'll populate your campaign. And then if you want to run a test, it'll populate, the test group and report on it. And then we do a lot of, especially with paid acquisition, because like you get, the higher you convert, the more you can bid, which increases your position. So there's kind of like, it's a multivariate problem. So we do a lot of testing around pricing and around, offering teaser deals and then measuring the retention after the fact, so we can make, an ROI-based decision versus just a straight up like this copy versus this copy, or this landing page versus this landing page.
Yep. Love it. Very cool, man. All right, well, we'll get back to talking about scaling, but first we've got our first recurring segment of the show called Which Test Won. And essentially what we're gonna do, it's a game show inside of an interview, if you can believe that.
Cool.
And we're gonna show you 3 different growth experiments, some that we've done, some that we've gotten from other people, other SaaS companies. And in them, you've got to decide which variation actually performed better. For each one that you get, we're gonna give you $20, and the third one's gonna be worth double, so it's gonna be $40. So you can win a total of $80, and you've decided to donate this to a charity. You chose Red Cross as your charity, and so it's not a lot of money, but it'll do some good out there.
Everything helps.
Yeah, everything helps. And so, you excited? You ready to take a shot at this?
Pretty excited.
You feeling confident?
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll go ahead and get started with Which Test Won. Okay, so the first test we've got here is right here. So the goal here is a software product called Bomgar, and the goal is to increase form submissions. And so on the left, the variation is basically just the form. No header, no footer, it doesn't really look like it's on like a normal website. It's just a form.
Right.
So imagine, let's try to be focused here. Let's try to take away all the clutter so people fill out the form. On the right's a more traditional website. It's got the header, it's got a footer, it's got a little bit of information just about the company. So it looks a little bit more like an official website. And then they've got the form on there as well to help sign up for a trial. So which one do you think got more form submissions?
I'm gonna assume that nobody goes straight to this page and they've probably learned about this product before. So I would go with less distraction and better contrast, so no nav and footer.
So guessing that the form, just simple, direct, is gonna perform better and increase form submissions. Well, sir, you were correct.
38%.
There was a 38% increase in form submissions by removing the nav, removing the footer, and basically just going straight, to the form and just having them sign up right away.
Crazy.
So pretty cool test. Have you guys done any tests with, forms and all that? And you guys signups? And what have you guys found?
Yeah, so we asked for name, address, name, phone number, and we've tested common like address and email, just address, name, phone, or address and phone, and right. You get more people to the next step with just address, but the actual the increase in overall conversion was not even comparable to address, name, and phone, because you can throw the phone numbers into custom audience, you can drip people. So we've done good amount of landing page tests as well.
Cool. Yeah, here in a little bit, we're going to kind of walk through one of your funnels and hear a little bit more about that. I'd love to see exactly what you guys have been testing there. Okay, number 2. Oh, wait, here's your money, $20.
Sweet.
For charity. Okay, test number 2. On which test 1 is the goal again is increase form submissions. So basically at the bottom of this screen, this is the top of the website, at the bottom, there's a form to go sign up for UX Academy. On the left-hand side, there's no button to scroll down. They just have to kind of read the copy, scroll down to the bottom, fill out the form. On the right-hand side, what they did was they added a call to action in that button, get syllabus and apply, big orange button. If you click that, what it does is that actually scrolls you all the way down to the bottom of the page instead of you just kind of scrolling down on your own. So their goal was to get increased form submissions, and which one do you think did that?
I would tend to go with, I would guess the call to action, but I could also see, somebody who scrolls the whole way through, gets more educated and sold before they submit it. But I mean, having a call to action in the hero is almost a best practice. So I'm going to go with the call to action above the fold.
Adding the call to action above the fold. And you, sir, all right. There was an 81% increase in submissions by adding the CTA above the fold. So congrats. Another $20.
These are some insane numbers.
I know, these are big increases. Really, really big. But you look at that one, it's like having a big orange button.
Yeah.
Your eye is totally drawn there. Get syllabus and apply. The left one, I'm not even sure. Yeah, I wouldn't even know that there's anything at the bottom of it. I might bounce out.
And it's
that.
With A/B testing, it's eventually you run out of these to run, and then
these are some of the low-hanging fruit. The really big wins that you can get. All right, number 3 is one that we have been running ourselves. Actually, this test just got to significance here earlier this week. So this one's fresh. And so here, this is for proof, to get people to sign up for a free trial. Our goal was to increase form submissions. On the left, we kind of asked for all the information up front to get a demo. So they say, yes, I want to see a demo. We asked for first name, work email, company name, website URL, how many visitors per month you get, because that's a big, kind of segment for us and a big indicator. What your company sells, then if you're a marketing agency or not. And they can fill all of that and click watch the instant demo. Or step 2, we thought, okay, well, what if we got all the information, but we broke it out into 2 different steps? And so the one we wanted to test for the 2-step form, they just asked for name and email. Then they clicked through. On the second step, we asked for all the rest of the information, kind of split that up to watch the instant demo. Which one do you think got more form submissions?
I'm going to go with the 2-step form.
2-step form, why? Why do you think that would perform better?
Whatever that psychological principle is, when you've invested a little bit of work, you don't want to walk away from it. So I think you got that going in your favor there.
Yeah, the principle of consistency, getting little micro yeses where they are starting to take action. All right, well, the answer is the 2-step form. 3 for 3. Congratulations. Here is $40. And again, we'll put that into charity for you. So the results here is the two-step form increased leads by 68%. So actually 68% more people filled out the form. And then what we weren't expecting was it increased trials by 185%.
Jeez.
Part of that was because, when we're asking for the email up front, we're just getting more emails. And that is we're dripping them to a trial. So we get to do a lot more follow-up, put them into custom audiences for Facebook ads and all sorts of follow-up there. But I do think it was kind of that micro commitment up front that they would, sign up. And then, by the time they get to the next stage of the form, they're like, well, I already gave them my email. I already gave them my name. I might as well just bang out a couple of these other questions. Cool. Well, I want to talk about that here in a sec. But congrats on the $80. The Red Cross will be thrilled. We'll put that in your name here. And yeah, let's dive back into talking about scaling, talking about growth. And so you guys do a lot of experimentation. I can tell just, from reading your blog posts and talking to you. How do you guys think about that? How do you guys approach experimentation as you scale a SaaS?
Yeah, I think, the important thing is to, when you're in a growth phase, is to really focus on things that are going to be high impact relative to the effort. It's really fun to think, come up with hypotheses on landing pages and stuff and whatnot, but eventually you run out of the big wins and it becomes super incremental, and a lot of times that energy can be put towards something that is going to have a higher impact, and you don't have to test it or whatnot. So we tend to try to not necessarily chase opportunity, even if it's there, unless it's a giant opportunity.
Cool. No, I love that. All right, man. Well, now we've got the next recurring segment of the show called Inside the Funnel. And we had looked at your funnels and asked you, how do you actually get people to sign up for Lawn Starter? We wanted to just pull up the actual screenshots of some of the funnel that you sent over and have you talk us through, what have you tried here? Why do you think this works? Just tell us, inside your mind, how'd you design this funnel and what's really going on here? And so here for the first one, we've got, a Facebook ad that, says the 21st century way to do yard work. And, obviously it's got, almost 600 likes, a bunch of comments, bunch of shares. Looks like a pretty effective Facebook ad. And then it seems like you're driving those directly to the homepage. But talk to us about maybe, some of the Facebook ads, some of the ways you're driving traffic, and then why the homepage? So I think the aggressive marketer would say, you need landing pages, you need all that. Here you are doing the simple way of going to the homepage.
Typically, it'll technically be a different page just for analytics purposes and experiment purposes, but it'll be a clone of the homepage that's not indexed on Google or anything, so that way it doesn't hurt your SEO or anything. We've tested a couple things. We've tested a totally new design, which this. I think this design is about a year old. Talk about a big test and a big investment. You pay a design firm, we paid a design firm that was, a bunch of designers from Airbnbs, and they're not cheap. So you spend 20 or 30 grand on a website and then pray that it wins. Fortunately, it did.
This one was the winner.
Yeah. Because we just didn't our old design was kind of it was amateur, and so we would be happy with a tie, but we're pretty thrilled that it won. One thing, adding press logos, sometimes it'll do nothing, but I think that's always a good thing to test if you're a brand that nobody knows of, because it's some people would argue that it's a little overplayed, but it's an easy way to say hey, we're not just some random website, we're a real company.
And every test that we've run with social proof and logos on our pages, it always outperforms without logos. And so, having Inc., CNBC, TechCrunch, and everything we've ever done, that's been really effective.
Yeah.
And then tell me about the Facebook ad. So does this work for you? What are you guys seeing on Facebook? Or is yours more of they've got to be in the market, they've got to be going and doing search for that? Yeah,
so we do a ton of search and then remarketing, but there's a few Facebook audiences that work really well. Younger audiences are so much more likely to convert online. So that was something that we just kind of noticed.
Convert on Facebook?
or just convert period.
Gotcha.
Because Google Analytics breaks, gives you some demographic data. But yeah, then a lot of retargeting as well, just because like it's a quick buying process, like 24 to 48 hours, but it is still something where you're comparing, you're shopping around. So that the retargeting definitely helps, and also just gives like an organic lift, because we can turn half our ads off or half our markets off, and we can kind of measure like, okay, according to Facebook, well, we got this many conversions, but there's also this like lift in branded search. And
So is this
we
mostly
calculate that.
just a retargeting Facebook ad?
Say about half,
Okay.
half and half.
So they come to your site through referral, word of mouth, search,
Yeah.
AdWords. Then to kind of pick them up in the funnel, you'll kind of go off the various channels to do retargeting.
Yeah.
Very cool. Love. So it's probably a pretty cheap ad to run and probably pretty effective just
Yeah.
because it's such a warm audience.
For sure, yeah.
Okay, cool. So they come back to the page, they enter their street address to get a quick and easy price, which I think is a great idea. And then they come through to kind of the next section where it's signing up for the pricing, actually entering the credit card and checking out. Tell us about this.
Yeah, so what's one thing that's kind of that we had to think about when making this was we had to like handle the core use case. So when people are signing up for lawn care, there's actually like quite a few cases. Very few people are just like, I just need mowing. A lot of times it's, I need to also get my bushes trimmed this first time, or I also want fertilization or whatever. So I don't know what the breakdown of it is, but people come, there isn't like a standard, it's not like, you're buying an item off the shelf. It's like everybody kind of has a custom idea of what they want. So what we tried to do is design this for like the fairway case, which is I just want lawn mowing and maybe some of the other recurring services. And it's all on one page, like I said. And so speaking about the, kind of the fairway case, like you actually have to click, I'm interested in additional services in order to get the information about those, because it's actually quite a bit of information to take in. So, and then if you're not looking for lawn mowing, we take you to a totally different experience. And a lot of times we'll actually even have a customer support rep reach out and help out a customer if they're, have a really complex request. We showed the house because just to give the user and then we put powered by Zillow just to, one, because Zillow requires us to, but two, show yes, we did do
That's
some
a
work
picture
to
of
get
their house when they type in the address from above. Like the Google
it's the
image
aerial
satellite.
view. And that's just because a lot of people are like, how do you know my price or whatever?
And what's been most surprising to you as you have built out funnels to get people started? What's been the shock or really unique insight that you've had?
Mobile converts exceptionally higher. I don't know why.
That's not the case for most businesses.
In fact, I was so convinced that was wrong. I thought we had somehow swapped mobile and desktop in our data set or something.
Yeah.
But especially for something like this.
Yeah, why do you think that is?
I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea.
Isn't that funny how
Yeah.
even with the best insights and all your brain power and all your thinking, sometimes the answer is just, I don't know, that's really weird.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it could be that on your desktop, it's easier to shop around and check out other options and
Open a new tab and Google lawn starter competitors or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting. Very cool. Any other big insights you want to share on this funnel and why that works? It's really cool. I just love the flow of it. I love how you start with the address and not the name, email. I'd kind of think, okay, let's start with the name and email. You're going straight to just tell us where your house is. And then it's a much more personalized experience when you go through. It's actually a picture of their house on the checkout form, not just the standard checkout form.
Yeah. One thing that I think that most companies should do is have the how did you hear about us? Because it's really interesting to look at to do a matrix of what people said they how they heard about you, and then what your analytics is telling you.
Yeah. So what do you typically see? Because I've always thought I don't think people are clicking the right thing on there, but do they?
For us, more or less.
Yeah.
There's definitely some stuff going on, but you also kind of it's a lightweight but probably more practical way of kind of doing like most companies, like figuring out multi-touch attribution is a huge nightmare. Like the biggest companies don't do it because like it's so complex, but like something as simple as that is, well, you know, people are coming in from, you know, Facebook or whatever, but they're saying, I heard about you in the press. Like,
And it's the touch that they remember, which is significant to know.
Yeah, and the other cool thing is like if you're doing any sort of non-trackable attribution, like we've messed around with radio, haven't done TV, but we've done billboards. You can track this by you put your option on there several weeks before you actually do a campaign or whatever, and you can get a better sense of how that's working by measuring the delta.
You can remove the baseline.
Yeah, there's going to be a certain amount of noise.
10% of people say billboards, even when there are no billboards.
Yeah.
So once we run one, if it jumps to 30, you kind of know there's 20%
it's not
gap
perfect,
there.
but you can kind of get in the range.
Smart. I wouldn't have ever thought about that. Very cool, man. Well, that is really great. And so we're rounding third, and we're headed home to the final section of the show, which is called the Salty Six. And these are 6 questions that mostly I just want to know about you to help us learn about who you are, but then also some more insights on you as a growth leader. So you ready? This is going to be rapid fire, pretty quick questions, but we want to hear about you. First of all, what do you do for fun?
During the summer, I like boating, like playing with my dog, and that's about it.
Okay. Secondly, what's the best business conference you've ever gone to?
I don't think I've ever been to a business conference.
Okay, don't go to conferences. Yeah. That's good. What podcasts do you listen to?
Oh, I listen to a ton of podcasts.
What are your top?
Let's see. I like Planet Money by NPR, like Joe Rogan, Tim Ferriss. Let's see. Intercom's got some good ones on the more startup-y type stuff. Yeah, those are a few.
Cool, love it. What book are you reading right now? What's on your nightstand?
I'm rereading a book called Who by, I think it's Jeffrey Smart, J.H. Smart, whose dad was the author of Top Grading. It's a pretty game-changing in terms of hiring and whatnot, so that's why I'm rereading it.
Cool, love it. Michael Jordan or LeBron?
Michael Jordan.
Why?
Just because he was around when I cared about basketball.
He was the man. I agree.
Who didn't have a Michael Jordan jersey growing up?
Yeah, and the Jordan poster on your wall.
Oh, yeah.
No, it was sweet. Okay, final question. What one person would you like to invite to a dinner party, dead or alive? Who would be a fun conversation for you?
George Washington.
Okay, why?
Hearing about starting how hard, like starting a company is pretty hard, like as I'm sure you would agree. I can't even fathom how hard it would be to like start a country.
You think he was doing biphasic sleeping?
He couldn't have slept very much.
He had to have been. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool, George Washington, I love it. Well, there you have it, folks. Ryan, thanks for coming on Scale or Die. This has been awesome.
Yeah.
If people want to check out what you've been working on or what you're talking about, where can they look you up?
RyanJFarley.com. I write like once every 6 months or so. And then LawnStarter.com if you need lawn care.
Very cool. I love it. Well, thanks for watching Scale or Die, and we'll see you at the next episode.